Jennifer. Activities marking the solemnization of marriage contract between Yusuf Muhammadu Buhari and Zahra Nasir Ado-Bayero were rounded off this Sunday with a formal reception in honor of the new couple. Both father of the groom, President Muhammadu Buhari, and that of the bride, Emir Nasir Ado-Bayero of Beach Emirate, attended the event. State House correspondent Adamu Sambo reports.
The new couple, Yusuf and Zahra, were indeed the cynosure of all eyes as they walked majestically to their seats. The glamorous event at the State House Conference Center was a unique opportunity for the invited guests from within and without Nigeria to honor the nation's first family and show solidarity with the newlywed. Amongst them serving and former first ladies of Nigeria and some African countries, former and serving governors, parliamentarians, ministers, captains of industry, as well as friends and members of the bride and groom's family. The wife of the Vice President, Dolapo Osinbajo, supported by wives of President Adama Barrow of the Gambia and former President Muhammadu Isufu of Niger, gave the toast in honor of the new couple, while the Vice President, Yemi Osinbajo, chaired the event.
This event, of course, you know, is one that many of us have looked forward to for a very long time. So when Yusuf mentioned to me that the day was near, I think many of us were looking forward to also meeting who the beautiful lady would be. As it turns out, he has picked for himself the most beautiful lady in this part of the world.
My advice to you is to be patient. Those who are patient, Allah is with them.
You are going to be an example to watch. If you have any problems, don't make it public.
So my beloved Yusuf as well as Zahra, try to be the best husband and try to be the best wife. May this union be the most blessed and whatever is to come from it.
Some of the personalities present lent their voices of goodwill in solidarity with the new couple and indeed the nation's first family.
The things that brought them together, if they can just maintain it and build on it, they'll have a sustainable family life.
Mutual understanding is critical, and absolute forgiveness is necessary to keep the union strong.
First, to congratulate them and to congratulate the parents. They should invite the Almighty Allah into their home.
This marriage has attracted tremendous amount of goodwill across the country, and I thank God that I am here to celebrate this wonderful history.
All Nigerians converge to celebrate with Mr. President. So it's a thing of honor. It's showing that there's unity in this country in spite of our diversity.
The President is a very good man, and God has blessed him with a very beautiful family. So I'm very happy for him.
All goes to show that God has so many ways of rewarding a man who has done well. So today, I call on all Nigerians to show more patriotism, high sense of nationalism, so that together, working with Mr. President, the country will finally be salvaged.
Photo opportunity with the Nigerian leader rounds off the colorfully historic and remarkable event. From the State House, Adamu Sambo, NTA News.
Congratulations to the couple. Now, moving on to security, operatives of the Nigeria Police Force working with the military and other security forces have arrested a 22-year-old female suspect, Gloria Okoli, for alleged complicity in a series of attacks on security formations and other critical national infrastructure, including INEC offices in the southeastern part of the country. A statement by the force indicates that the suspect, a native of Umutanza in Imo State, was arrested following investigations and implementation of Operation Restore Peace. Police investigations revealed that Gloria Okoli, who is a member of IPOB and ESN in Imo State worked closely with one Benjamin Uzoma Emojiri, ESN commander, earlier declared wanted by the police for his roles in planning, coordinating and executing attacks on the Imo State Police Command headquarters and Imo State headquarters of the Nigerian Correctional Service. Meanwhile, the Inspector General of Police Usman Alkali Baba has applauded security operatives for the unrelenting fight against violent crimes in the country, assuring citizens of the commitment of the force to improving security in the country. Still on security, the Commander Multinational Joint Task Force MNJTF Major General Abdul Khalifa Ibrahim has stressed determination to ensure that remnants of the Islamic State in the West African province ISWAP and elements of the Boko Haram groups are rooted out of the Lake Chad Basin. The commander, MNJTF, gave the charge while on operational visits to formations under his command. He was at the force's Sector 3 headquarters in Mongono, Borno State, Sector 1 headquarters in Mora, Cameroon, and Sector 2 headquarters in Bagasala, Chad, where he was accompanied by principal staff officers from all the participating countries. Major General Ibrahim expressed renewed commitment to the fight to the enclaves of the terrorists to hasten the end of the conflicts. 15 students of Bethel Baptist Secondary School, Kaduna, who regained freedom from bandits' captivity Sunday morning have been reunited with their families. Haruna Mohammed reports.
In company of the President Baptist Convention and other officials, they arrived at the church secretariat Kaduna. The 15 students bring to 43 the number of kidnapped students who have regained freedom from the bandits since their abduction from the school about 2 months ago.
In everything, God says we should give thanks, and we are giving thanks for what He has done, and we are trusting that the same God who has brought these 15 out is going to help us to receive the other 63.
I want to thank God for well-wishers, relatives, and the Church of God who actually have been supporting to see that our children are being released.
Efforts have been intensified to secure the release of the remaining students. A total of 121 of the students were abducted by bandits on July 5. In Kaduna, Haruna Mohammed, NTA News.
4 fuel-laden trucks containing 129,000 litres of siphoned petrol have been intercepted and impounded by the Nigerian Navy at Baruwa, a community in the Ipaja area of Lagos State. Adeni Taiwo reports that the vandals were stopped in their track during a patrol exercise by operatives of a joint task force.
Are some of the points with improvised equipment used by the vandals to siphon refined products from a network of pipelines running under the earth's surface in Baruwa, a community in Ipaja area of Lagos. These 4 trucks, already loaded with petrol, were being prepared for takeoff when security operatives under Operation Awati, led by the Nigerian Navy, swooped on them. On sighting the operatives, the vandals fled, leaving behind fuel-laden trucks. The Flag Officer commanding Western Naval Command, Rear Admiral Jason Bessa, who lauded members of the public for assisting security agencies with actionable information, said pipeline vendors will no longer enjoy a free rein in the state.
Striking thing is that within a built-up area like this, for people to have the effrontery to come and carry out illegal acts against the mandate of Operation Awatse, what follows is we're going to move them back to base and follow up with further investigations and handing over to appropriate prosecuting agencies.
He says with interagency cooperation being ramped up among security outfits, national economy and the health of communities such as Baruwa will no longer be endangered by the activities of vandals. Operation Awati was set up in October 2014 as a joint military task force to stop incessant siphoning of petrol from vandalized NNPC pipelines in Lagos and its environs. Adini Itaiwo, NTA News.
The National Drug Law Enforcement Agency has apprehended a major drug dealer wanted for attempted export of 69.65 kilograms of cocaine, heroin and cannabis to the United Kingdom through the Murtala Mohammed International Airport, Lagos. The suspect was arrested in Ojodo, Ikeja area of Lagos State. Similarly, an Italy-bound passenger was arrested on Ethiopian Airways flight to Italy via Addis Ababa for ingesting illicit drugs, which the suspect under observation excreted about 68 wraps of heroin, weighing 800 grams. Other illicit substances intercepted include 1.660 kilograms of methamphetamine concealed in bolts and locally made footwears going to Italy, a kilogram of cocaine coming from Ghana, an arrest of a South African returning with 58 grams of skunk. At least 2,504 kilograms of diverse illicit drugs were seized from multiple suspects in the past week. Now, broadcast organizations in Nigeria are under obligation to inform and educate citizens objectively within the ambits of the National Broadcast Code, considering the security situation in the country. Director General, National Broadcasting Commission stated this at a meeting with media executives in Enugu. Mina Okaobasi reports.
One of the mandates of the National Broadcasting Commission is monitoring broadcasts for harmful emissions, interference, and illegal broadcasting, all under the Act. During the meeting at Born Sunshine Hotels, Enugu, the Director General stated that it was an opportunity for stakeholders to interface with the NBC on better ways to sanitize the broadcast system in Nigeria.
So you should be mindful of the security situation of your own country. Don't just blow things out of proportion. Don't say things simply because you want to say it. Now, as a journalist, sit down in your room and think, oh, before you take your pen, is what I am going to report going to be good to the nation, or is going to be inimical to the progress or economic progress of the nation?
Speaking on the implications of broadcast coverage on security, a former director, Department of State Service, DSS, maintained that it is necessary that journalists be objective in their reportage. Some of the participants in the meeting, including the Zonal Director, NTA Enugu Network Center, encouraged journalists to always ensure balanced reportage and gain clarity on controversial issues before airing.
If you want to report security, you have to be extremely careful. You don't intend as a journalist to create panic. So you have to make sure you have your sources.
The nation belongs to all of us, and anything that will put the nation on the path of progress is our responsibility.
The National Broadcasting Commission, however, used the opportunity to call for a symbiotic synergy between the broadcast stations and the NBC. In Enugu, Mina Adobi-Kobasi, NTA News.
The ongoing nationwide strike by resident doctors is likely to be suspended soon, as the federal government has promised to start implementation of the new agreements reached at an all-stakeholders meeting aimed at resolving a doctors' strike. Minister of Labour and Employment Chris Ngige confirmed this while reading the Memorandum of Understanding with all stakeholders at the meeting. Oluseyi Adeagbo reports.
About 21 days since the National Association of Resident Doctors began an indefinite strike over non-implementation of agreements. The meeting, which started about 3 p.m. on Friday and later adjourned in the early hours of Saturday before reconvening in the afternoon same day and lasted till the late night, came up with a new Memorandum of Understanding.
But we now expect the NMA and NAD to use this as a plank to consult their members with a view to calling off the strike urgently, so we can save the lives that are now being lost unnecessarily.
All the actors signed the agreement except the National Association of Resident Doctors, NAD. NAD representative equally refused to give reasons for declining to sign when approached by journalists. Ngige, however, reacted to what transpired and other issue on the no work, no pay rule.
NAD pleaded with us to consult their members on an item which they want us to include in the conditions of the Memorandum of Understanding. We have
inserted our clause that nobody would be victimized for any activity connected with, for or against participating in the industrial action.
As it is now, since all the stakeholders have signed, it is hoped that in coming days, the strike will be over. In Abuja, Olusheye Adiagbo, NTA News.
Still on health, following the increase in COVID-19 infections in the country, medical experts have stressed the need for deliberate effort by Nigerians to abide by the basic principles geared towards prevention of further spread of the virus. Mary Jane Chikezie, who spoke with a cross-section of Owerri residents and some medical practitioners, has details.
According to recent COVID-19 reports by the Nigerian Center for Disease Control, NCDC, the number of new infections has been on the increase, making the situation worrisome. What is even more disturbing is the laxity which has continued to trail these developments on the part of the public. A visit to some locations in Owerri, including business places, shows near total negligence of non-pharmaceutical measures, as some facilities initially positioned for hand wash are no more in place. Although some people were seen putting on their nose mask, others were seen without it, as some of them claimed they had it in their handbags.
Putting on face masks is quite uncomfortable.
I'm wearing it for my safety and the safety of my loved ones.
While some respondents commended federal government's efforts at ensuring availability of the COVID-19 vaccine in the country, medical experts call for caution to ensure prevention of infection.
But this one will have headache, fever, weakness, all those things that ordinarily you just think that this is just like our infections, just like our malaria that we usually have here. But it's actually quite devastating in terms of the severity of the disease. And mortalities are also higher when you compare that to the other one.
We will start the LGA training, so that after that, Imo State will roll out the second phase of the COVID-19 vaccine.
While vaccination remains a valuable tool in the fight against COVID-19, medical experts have stressed the need for those yet to get a jab to do that without further delay. In Owerri, Mary Jane Chikezie, NTA News.
For over 4 million Nigerians who are diabetic to remain physically active, experts have advocated healthy lifestyle and adherence to treatment procedure for proper management of the disease. This was the thrust of discuss at the first training for children living with type 1 diabetes in Abuja, Ogun State, on how to manage the disease. Yemi Dalimo reports that former President Olusegun Obasanjo was at the event.
Although cases of diabetes mellitus are not limited to old adults, its prevalence among the young lately is described by medical experts as worrisome. 21-year-old Esther Onofwokon and 15-year-old Adebayo Toluwanimi, who said they have been managing type 1 variant of diabetes for 9 and 2 years respectively, shared their experience.
I'm taking home love, strength, perseverance to cope.
I was actually scared that I don't want to go through this. So it made me wisen up and become more responsible for my health now.
According to experts, many people living with diabetes lack information about its management, and this is why pediatric endocrinologists are canvassing more attention in the area of treatment and management, especially among the young, for healthy living.
There are different risk factors. Okay, we have a genetic predisposition. We also have some environmental factors. Okay, maybe an exposure to some viral infections or some chemicals. Okay, so these work in conjunction and cause a progressive destruction of the pancreas.
Former President Olusegun Obasanjo, who underscored the initiative behind the first Ogun State Youth Diabetes Camp, advocates self-management and healthy lifestyle in order to stay active. Stakeholders, including the Center for Non-Communicable Diseases, say regular enlightenment on appropriate care and nutrition is desirable for people living with diabetes to live a healthier life. In Abuja, Yemi Dalimo, NTA News.
In Away from Health, the Federal Ministry of Humanitarian Affairs and Disaster Management has commenced the enumeration of all primary school pupils, teachers and vendors under its homegrown school feeding program in Rivers State. The exercise is in collaboration with relevant state and federal government MDAs, which include the NYSC, NOA, SUBEB, Bureau of Statistics, among others. Gabriel Amunike reports.
Part of President Muhammadu Buhari's led administration's 500 billion naira national social investment program, the National Homegrown School Feeding was launched in 2016 to feed primary school pupils and bring back children who dropped out of school as a result of hunger and poverty. At the flag-off of the enumeration exercise at the State Primary School 1 Borikiri, Assistant Director Team Lead National Homegrown School Feeding Program, River State, Charles Oko says the exercise is targeting over 124,000 pupils in about 963 primary schools across River State.
The program is taken on simultaneously in all the schools, in all the local government areas of River State and all the states of the Federation.
State Director, National Orientation Agency, River State, Young Tamino, assured that the exercise, when completed, will create a sound database.
Statistics have it that people, an average of about 30%, have left the private schools back into the public schools.
Some of the pupils thanked the federal government for the free food, while the food vendors speak on their challenges.
They were giving rice, beans, potato, and yam.
Since we started both years, 17 naira, we don't meet up.
It was observed that the homegrown school program has suffered some setback in River State, largely due to disruption in the school calendar occasioned by COVID-19 pandemic. In Port Harcourt, Gabriel Amunike, NTA News.
A critical stakeholders retreat organized by the People's Democratic Party in collaboration with the Kogi PDP Renaissance has ended with a common resolve to remain united for future electoral victories. Timothy Yusuf reports on the retreat held in Abuja.
The People's Democratic Party believes that the Kogi PDP Renaissance Group, as a consultative initiative of concerned party members, share common concerns in line with the party's efforts towards relaunching itself out of opposition. Chairman of the PDP National Reconciliation Committee and immediate past President of the Senate, Dr. Bukola Saraki, describes the retreat as a pointer to the readiness of the PDP to put his house in order, not only in Kogi but throughout the country.
But moving forward, we need to work as a united team. We need to reconcile. We need to be ready to sacrifice and set aside our differences and look at the bigger picture.
And I've always taken position that we have got enough great people in Kogi State that whatever be our problem, we can internalize our problem and find solution to them. And it has always been so.
Former Minister of Information and Chieftain of the PDP, Professor Jerry Gana, in a lecture titled Kogi PDP, Yesterday, Today and Tomorrow, enjoins partnership of the National Secretariat of the PDP with the State Executive Committee towards sensitizing the teaming grassroots support base ahead of the next election.
Kogi, you have no excuse whatsoever of being behind in anything. In fact, the union of bringing the Federal Republic of Nigeria together was signed in Lokoja.
Other speakers urged PDP leaders and stakeholders in Kogi State to go to the whole distance in reclaiming the governance of Kogi in the next governorship election. The Kogi West Elders Forum meeting on the sideline urged political parties and players to support power equity and measured balance in favor of the West Senatorial District. The meeting held under the chairmanship of Major General David Jemi Bewon, retired. In Abuja, Timothy Yusuf, NTA News.
Into environment matters, in an effort to curtail the effects of climate change occasioned by desert encroachment and environmental degradation, Yobe State Government and the United Nations Office for the Coordination of Humanitarian Activities have flagged off the 2021 tree planting campaign in Jakusko local government area. Adam Yusuf Ali reports that this is part of efforts to raise 3 million seedlings of assorted tree species for free distribution to people across the state.
With 10 out of the 17,000 council areas facing the threat of desert encroachment, Yobe State, located in northeast Nigeria, is among the 14 northern states in the country situated in the front line. The planting of 14,000 tree seedlings in one of the most affected council areas is a deliberate policy and strategy adopted by the state government to encourage mass planting of trees across the state to control desertification and low degradation occasioned by climate change.
Safeguarding the environment is a task that requires the cooperation and participation of all and sundry. In this respect, I would like to enjoin the Committee for Environment and Sanitation to each of the 17 local government areas to scale up their activities and also liaise with their respective territorial rulers.
The 2021 tree planting campaign is in line with the Climate Change Action Plan of Yobe State, in which it raised 3 million seedlings of assorted species of trees, which were distributed free of charge to the general public, in addition to establishment of 300 hectares of gone Arabic plantation in the 3 local government areas of the state. The study, conducted from 1990 to 2010 by the European Union, United Nations Food and Agricultural Organization, classified Yobe among the states with high deforestation rates in the world. In Damaturu, Adam Yusuf Ali, NTA News.
Arsenal Football Club lost for the second time in a row. Bade Adeleye will be our guide on that, as well as other threatening sporting